Welcome back and welcome to another book versus movie video. Today, of course, as you know from the thumbnail, we are talking about P.S. I Still Love You, or To All the Boys I've Loved, P.S. I Still Love You. Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You. Anyway, To All the Boys I've Loved Before 2, based on book 2 in the trilogy of books by the same name by Jenny Han. In case you are new here, I love making book versus movie videos. They are my favourite kinds of videos to make because I get to read the book and watch the movie. Two of my favourite things to do. And I have a whole playlist of them, which I will leave linked up here. I also did end up making a playlist of Jenny Han videos because I've done trailer reactions, book versus movie, and trilogy reviews of all her books and books into movies. So I will leave that linked up here at some point as well. The trailer reaction is in both the playlists, so if you haven't already seen that, you can click on the playlist, go and watch that, and then come back and I have thoughts on the book versus the movie, and they're in my sparkly notebook. To all the notebooks I've loved before, right? I think that they would approve. I'm kind of channeling my inner Harley Quinn with this as well. So as always, I understand that a movie is just based upon the idea of the book. The author signs away their rights or whatever, and then we have a movie, and it doesn't have to be anything like the book at all. I understand that a movie has a much shorter time frame of things to do than to get things done than a book does, and so it's never going to be the same. But I enjoy comparing and contrasting, and I know that a lot of you compare and contrast and enjoy that as well, so that is why I make these videos. I'm not saying that the movie has to be the same as the book, and I am not always of the opinion that the book is better than the movie. Sometimes there are exceptions. Okay, so first of all, I loved the book. I reread the book on Monday and Tuesday before watching the film, and I absolutely loved it. I forgot how awesome this one was. I might like this one better than the first one. I don't know. I really liked it a lot. And I loved the movie. So just start off by saying that. I feel like as a general tone, the movie seems a lot more romantic than the book. Like, it's very much like, oh, this is a sweet love story, and kind of the bumps that can be along the way in, you know, first loves and teen love. And I think part of that is because in the book trilogy, the hot tub stuff is dealt with in book 2, P.S. I Still Love You, but in the movie trilogy, the hot tub stuff is dealt with more briefly in movie 1. So movie 2 just has all that post hot tub stuff to deal with. So I think that's why it feels a lot more like a lovely, you know, teen romance, teen rom-com, and it generally had moments that made me go, ooh, which the book does have, but the book also deals with the hot tub stuff, which deals with like slut shaming and kind of the pressure on teens to have sex, and the way that's dealt with differently in boys and girls. And to some extent it touches on the difference between the way that's dealt with like straight couples versus non-straight couples, I think, from rereading the book recently. And so I love what the book does there, but the film couldn't do that because it doesn't tackle that stuff in the same way, because it's kind of dealt with in film 1. Secondly, my sort of, second thoughts, Holland Taylor being cast as Stormy, epic casting. She is so like what I pictured in my head as Stormy when I was reading the book. Stormy, of course, lives at Bellevue, which is the retirement home where Lara Jean and before her Margot volunteers, and where we have some key John Ambrose moments. Also love the John Ambrose casting, very similar to what he looks like in my head, but very different to what the actor looks like in the first movie. Young John Ambrose in this movie looks very different to young John Ambrose in that movie. Did anybody else spot that? If you've seen both the movies, we look very, very different, John Ambrose's. Young John Ambrose in this movie looks a little bit more like young Lucas in the first movie. I'm not complaining. I like the casting of older John Ambrose. It's just the young John Ambrose that I think maybe they should have kept the same. I don't know. Obviously, at the beginning of the book, we have a lot more interaction with Margot, and I think that in the first book as well, Margot is around slightly more than she is in the movie. So if you are a big fan of Margot in the books, then you'll miss her in the movies. She's in it on FaceTime a couple of times in both movies, but in this movie in particular, we don't see when she comes back at Christmas, which we do see in the book. We kind of go, we just have, you know, Valentine's Day, we don't see that bit. And I think again that's partly due to the way we skim over the hot tub stuff a little bit. But yeah, if you're a Margot fan, she's not really in this movie at all. We see a couple of phone calls with her and that's it. Just a moment of appreciation for John Corbett. I love him and the casting of him as Dad in this. Just amazing. You'll have to excuse me while I go away and watch all of the Aiden episodes of Sex and the City now. Love it. Also spotted Jenny Han this time straight away. She's in it around about 30 minutes, so if you're trying to spot her, that's when she is. She might be in it again, but the time I spotted her, she's in it a couple of times at like the beginning of 30 minutes and sort of 30 minutes 50-ish seconds. Yeah, going back to John Ambrose, I feel like John Ambrose gets in the movie earlier than he kind of gets into the book, but A, that's probably because we're short on time. It's only an hour and 21-minute movie, and B, that's because we don't have to deal with all the hot tub stuff which we deal with at the beginning of the book. So we meet John Ambrose, who is also volunteering at Bellevue, which is slightly different to the book, but I like the fact that we kind of have him around as well as Lara Jane and Peter almost the whole way through the movie. I really like that. Sorry, I'm just looking at my list. There are a lot of the really classic lines from the book and classic kind of Lara Jean and family and Lara Jean and Peter moments from the book that are very much in the movie. Always no spoilers, obviously, but there are, never fear, your classic moments that you love from the book are also in the movie, especially those family times. Like, I like the fact that we had Thanksgiving included. I like the fact that we had New Year's Day with their grandmother included. Like, I really like all of that. The fact that we kept those kind of core family moments in both of the movies, and then some of the classic kind of quotes and conversations that Lara Jean and Peter have in the book are in the movie as well. There's a couple of kind of key plot points in the book. We have the tree house that's in the book, and them kind of going back to their childhood tree house that they all hung around in when they were younger, and kind of revisiting that and seeing kind of where they are now, digging up a time capsule. We have that in the book. However, the tag game that kind of takes us through the last third of the book isn't in the movie. Sorry, I should have said we have the treehouse in the movie as well. So I think the tag game is really fun, but I was wondering how it would come up on the screen, so I think it was probably a good choice to leave that out. And then Genevieve, I think, has a bigger role in the book than she does in the movie. She's still in the movie, but I think in both the first book and the second book, and the first movie and the second movie, she has a slightly smaller role, and we kind of don't see her as much in this film as we see in the book, which is fine, because I'm not really a massive fan of her and the dynamic that she has with Lara Jean. I think she brings out a much nastier side of Lara Jean and a much more judgmental side of Lara Jean. That's my kind of like one little negative point about this trilogy, is that she can be very judgmental when it comes to Genevieve, but she doesn't want to be judged the same way. So the whole hot tub and the slut shaming thing, I feel like she's still judging Genevieve for having had sex with Peter previously. But that's, again, just my opinion. And then the party at the retirement home has a different theme. However, whilst I was looking forward to seeing John Ambrose in the kind of like World War II military type uniform and seeing how they were going to do that, because it sounds so cute in the book, I really love the theme that they went with in the movie, and I love the decorations. I think that that set must have been really fun to work on because it just looks so beautiful, and the punch that they have looks really good. It's got strawberry bubbly in it. Big fan of bubbly, so I like that. I think, yeah, on the whole, we've got so many key moments and so many key like classic lines and favorite points, and we get to see the whole letter just like we do in the book, and you know, John Ambrose coming back. There's less talk of Model UN, but that's fine. I really like the way they've adapted it. I like the stuff that they've left out. I think it works really well for the film, and I like the couple of changes that they've made. I do miss Margot because I really love the dynamic we have as a family. So they've still got those family moments, but it's just Lara Jean, Kitty and Dad. We also see slightly less from Miss Rothschild, or Trina, than we do in the book, but I feel like maybe they're going to carry that into the third film more. Let me know if you've seen it and what you think of that particular storyline and what they did with it, because we still see her, but she has some kind of like almost mother-daughter moments with Lara Jean in the book, where we don't see them interacting alone in the movie at all. But yeah, the feeling of the film is definitely like romance, lovely romance, all first love and the bumps along the way, and I loved it. I had a really fun end of a Wednesday evening watch, and if you like the book, then you will definitely like the film. I do recommend rewatching the first film and kind of watching them back to back, a bit like I did. I watched the first film Monday, watched this film tonight, watched the first film, read the second book, watched the second movie. It was fun. And yeah, I love the fact that we've got those key moments in there and some of those key lines. And I really hope we get to see more of Margot in movie number 3, and I can't wait to see what they do with movie number 3. I know they're already like, I don't know if they're done filming it or they're filming it now, but it's very exciting. And yes, anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed so that my next book versus movie video, which is coming your way very soon, lands in your subscription feed. Let me know in the comments if you've seen the movie and read the book, what you made of it, or if you've just come to this movie having watched the first movie, what did you think of it? Let me know. I will see you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.